Close U guards Devonte Green, left, and Romeo Langford, right, meet with reporters following the Hoosiers' 55-52 loss to Ohio State on Sunday afternoon. Osterman at ndStar.com. Bloomington. It happened in bursts, flashes of brilliance that remind you, and isn't it weird, that we need to be reminded just how physically gifted, just how good Romeo Langford is at the game of basketball. It didn't happen often enough for you in this 55-52 loss to Ohio State on Sunday, but it happened twice on a day where Romeo was so sick, he spent the game coughing into the crook of his elbow. Afterward I got Romeo alone and asked him why it doesn't happen more. Is it your cold? He said no. He gave another answer. What he said was, wait, hang on. Romeo is having one of those flashes of brilliance. Don't miss this. Here he is in the first half against the Buckeyes, catching a pass from Deron Davis behind the three-point arc and drilling the shot. Here he is moments later, stretching out a long arm and poking away a pass, zooming to the rim for a soaring dunk. Here he is again, clawing at the ball, tearing it from OSU guard C.J. Jackson's hands. Insider, this is the end of IU's realistic NCAA tournament hopes. No one covers you like NDStar. Stay up to date on your Hoosiers. Subscribe to NDStar. Close U coach Archie Miller breaks down his team's 55-52 loss to Ohio State on Sunday afternoon. Osterman at ndStar.com. And there he goes, quiet for the final 12.5 minutes of the first half. No, wait, here he comes again. It's midway through the second half, and while Romeo has been gone for almost 20 minutes of game clock, on the court but not there, he has just decided to take over this game. U trails 39-32 when he sizes up the 6-1 Jackson and beats him to the rim, where he encounters 6'9", 270-pound Caleb Wesson. Langford glides past Wesson for a reverse layup, and now his fuse is burning and getting shorter, and here's the explosion. Romeo drives for a bucket. He catches a pass from Juwan Morgan and buries a three-pointer. Somewhere in there, Romeo gets the ball 70 feet from the basket and decides he's going to dunk it on somebody, on anybody, on everybody if need be. He's too far from the rim, but he's feeling it and he gives it a go anyway, meeting the 6'9" Wesson in midair, where they collide. No whistle, no foul, no dunk. But Langford is still smoldering. He dribbles off a screen by Davis and buries another three, giving a little pose as it disappears into the basket, tying the score at 47 as Assembly Hall's 17,222 erupts. Langford has just scored 10 points in 7.5 minutes, and he has 15 on the day, but he's done. His final shot is a step-back three-pointer with 12 seconds left. If it goes down, the Hoosiers will lead 55-54, and it goes down. But it comes back up the rim, regurgitating his shot, spitting it out as the Buckeyes grab the rebound, hit one more free throw and survive when Devonte Green's three-pointer in the final seconds bounces off the rim. Close U insider Osterman recaps an ugly 55-52 loss to Ohio State that likely ends the Hoosiers' realistic NCAA tournament hopes. Osterman at ndStar.com. It's another bad day and an increasingly bad season for a new basketball team whose record now stands at 13-11 overall, 4-8 in the Big Ten. The Hoosiers are in danger of missing the NCAA tournament, the knit in those rinky-dink postseason tournaments that nobody around here wants to play in, anyway. More than that, worse than that if you ask me, the Hoosiers are in danger of wasting their one season with Romeo Langford. A recruit like this comes along, how often? Let's not go revisionist history and decide that maybe Romeo wasn't all that good after all. He was, and still is. I spoke at length with an NBA scout Sunday who told me Romeo remains a no-brainer top 10 pick in the 2019 NBA draft and could approach the top 5, assuming he enters the draft. More in a minute from the scout, who spelled out exactly what Romeo needs to do the rest of the season. First, here's you coach Archie Miller on his prized freshman. By photo. Indiana Hoosiers guard Romeo Langford zeroed scores a basket during the game against Ohio State at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, on Sunday, Feb. 10, 2019. Photo. Bobby Godin. For Indy Star, very few people in the history of college basketball can come in with, number 1, the hype, the reputation and the amount of responsibility that he was going to be handed, and he's handled it with an unbelievable team approach, Miller said. He's a learner. He works hard every single day, and he's also a guy that understands that there's a lot of eyes on him, and sometimes he's allowed to make mistakes. We've had to remind him of that throughout the course of the year. You're allowed to play poorly at times, you're allowed to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. Of all freshmen in college basketball, I think he's third in scoring behind the two guys R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson. At Duke, Romeo is IU's lone offensive genius, averaging 17.5 points per game, even if too often he's standing in the corner, doing nothing. He had those 2 bursts Sunday, but he played 38 minutes and didn't go to the foul line once. That's the only time this season Romeo has failed to shoot a free throw, but it's not exactly a fluke. Too many minutes, too many games, have come and gone without Romeo giving any indication that he's the best athlete on the floor. Part of this is his nature. Romeo is so nice, so unselfish, that he doesn't want to impose his will. He told me, when I asked him why he doesn't take over more often, was this: "I don't try to force it," he said. It happens in certain situations, but I let the game come to me, more, making the case for Romeo to return for sophomore year. He always has, even at New Albany High, where he scored 3,002 points and earned 2018 Indy Star Mr. Basketball, but where he could have broken Damon Bailey's state boys record of 3,134 career points had he wanted. If you saw Romeo play, you know, he let the game come to him. Even then, even when he could have grabbed the game by the neck and bent it to his will. He can do that in college, too, but generally prefers to be a cog in the machine. By photo. Indiana Hoosiers guard Romeo Langford dribbles the ball during the game against Ohio State at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana, on Sunday, February 10, 2019. Photo. Bobby Godin. For Indy Star, and that's his biggest deficiency, the NBA scout was telling me. No, not his shooting. Romeo is shooting just 26.8% from three-point range, 26 for 97, but look at his shot. It's balanced, it's beautiful, and it's going to be just fine. You'll see. But his unwillingness to dominate a game? NBA teams don't love that, not from a player who could be taken in the first half of the draft lottery. Pick a player that high, and you expect an alpha male, or at the least a really strong no. 2. Romeo has the game to be whatever he wants in the NBA, but it's the killer instinct the NBA wants to see from him now. Thing is, he does have it. And he showed it in spurts Sunday, including the ones we've already discussed. Also, here, in the second half when Romeo was going off and you was rallying from a 9-point deficit to take the lead at 52-49, Ohio State sophomore Musa Jallow, a Bloomington North product, put his hands on Romeo. It was a dead ball, you about to throw it inbounds, and Jallow was letting Romeo know, "I'm here." Romeo decided, "No, you're not." He grabbed Jallow's hand and flung it away, causing Jallow to raise his palms in dismay. That was cold Romeo, cruel Romeo, but he was in the middle of a stretch where he was ruthless Romeo. And it's not just the NBA that needs to see more of it. U basketball needs a hero, and he's the only guy good enough to wear the cape. Find star columnist Greg Doyel on Twitter at @GregDoyelStar or at www.facebook.com/greg.doyel. By photo. 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 Autoplay show thumbnails, show captions. Last slide. Next slide.